Hi, this is Randy Pipes, and I want to welcome you to a breakthrough moment. God tells us that there is a storm-proof place where we can go. He said, anyone who listens to my teaching and obeys me is wise, like a person who builds his house on a rock. Though the rain comes in torrents and the floodwaters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it was built on a rock. Now he says, he who listens to my teaching. Jesus has been delivering something called the Sermon on the Mount. And that is specifically the teaching that he's referring to. He says, when you build your life on what I've just told you to do, your life will be stormproof. In the Old Testament, you would have had to perfectly live by the law, which man can't do. And so he says there's another law that fulfills the law and the prophets. He says, whatever you want men to do for you, do also to them. Basically, Jesus is saying, take the grace that I've shown you, take the love that I've shown you, and use it to love other people. And when you do that, that fulfills my law. Now here's some keys that we find through Matthew. He tells us that we need to have a consistent and humble reliance. He says to seek and we will find, to knock and he will answer the door. And so this shows a life that is pressing into God for his strength and ability at all times. Secondly, he tells us that we need to live a life without judgment. He says that the same measure that we use to judge others will be used to judge us. Thirdly, he tells us that we need to be willing to see the truth about ourselves. He says to take the plank out of our own eyes so that we might see clearly to help remove the splinter from others' eyes. And finally, he says we need to be humble and wise in instructing others. This is where he says not to cast our pearls before swine. Just because God shows us something does not mean it's the right time or the right place to share instruction with someone else. And so when we do share, it has to be with a spirit of humility. Our mission is to reveal Christ to the world around us through each and every circumstance that we find ourselves in. He tells us to be salt and light to the world. So this is Randy Pipes. On behalf of the Place of Purpose, I want to encourage you to know that you're extraordinary, to live your life abundantly, and to be purposeful in making your contribution to the world. Keep on breaking through. Until I see you again, God bless.